I absolutely love being a wife and a mother. But there was a moment in my life where the dream of motherhood felt more like a cruel tragedy. Robby and I were your typical high school sweethearts, hanging out, walking around downtown, going on dates to Hogan Brothers, and hanging out with friends all the time. That was until one day.
Yeah, when we first found out she was pregnant, I think terrified or petrified were some of the first words I would use.
At first, like any typical teenager, I was ignoring it. I was like, oh, like this isn't real. But when I actually came to terms with it, I was like so scared and just thought my life was over, essentially. Are my parents gonna kick me out? Like, am I gonna be rejected by my friends? I'm gonna have to leave school? Like, just all these things. What are my sisters gonna think? I had a younger sister, just a couple, I think she was like 4 at the time when I was pregnant, so she was just very young, and I'm like, what is she gonna think? She thinks babies come from Jesus magically, and so I was very, very worried about that.
Very unsure of what the next steps were.
You know, we were together, I loved my boyfriend, but he was like on a bad track. He had a tough family life, so he was not gonna graduate high school, like was just on that track. And so I thought we would break up and I'd be going off to college, but then I'm pregnant. I find myself pregnant, like what are we gonna do?
I think abortion was kind of last on my list, personally, just because it's just something I don't have a strong belief in. But it was more whatever she wanted to do or however she wanted to kind of move forward. I wanted to be just a supportive role for her.
Ideally, I would love to have this baby, but abortion's probably the most realistic choice. Me and Robby, my boyfriend at the time, now husband, decided to go to the Northfield Women's Center. Really, we just needed someone to talk through the options with us because I was terrified, thinking that there's no way I can have a baby. I need to have an abortion. Like, I can't go through with this. When I was first going to the Northfield Women's Center, I was looking around like paranoid someone was gonna recognize me walking in. But once I walked in, you know, I did have a little bit of calm. I was still very terrified, but like the environment was super calming. And I think it was Liz at the front desk who was just very kind, and I kind of felt more at ease, like not judged, because I was certainly judging myself in that circumstance. She showed me a video, and it really just kind of changed my thinking of, you know, pregnancy as being like a nuisance, like not a life. And I was like, yeah, like this is a life that's growing inside of me. They had given us this the Northfield Women's Center gave us this little baggie that had like a hat and some information, and just like, we still have the little white hat they gave us, and I just will never get rid of it. And I'm just like, this is a baby. Like like we can do this together, and we have, clearly there's people that do care and will help support us going through this process, and give us the information we need. And that's when we decided to tell our parents. And I was like, even if for whatever reason, you know, they won't help support us in this decision, we can still get through this.
The first ultrasound, I think was one of the big moments of realization of, you know, that there's another life form kind of growing, and like this is real and it's happening, and it's not, you know, something we've kind of made up in our minds or had a false test or something. When
I first saw Addie on the ultrasound, it was pure joy, like just seeing her. Like it's one thing to hear the heartbeat, but like when they like put the ultrasound on where you can actually hear it and see it at the same time, and like see the real baby inside you, it was amazing. It was like magical, which sounds cheesy, but it was. Being 17 and pregnant it's tough. So having a safe place to go to kind of vent frustrations or talk about things was I think it was crucial. Liz, I remember getting on the phone with my insurance and being stern with them and like helping me out just to figure out all the information. She's like, you need to get prenatal care. Like this is like, you should have already been to the doctor. So I just remember that distinctly, that she took time out of her day to like call the insurance, because me at 17, I have no idea about any of that. So she just was the biggest advocate. Right before birth, they actually held a birth class, which was really helpful to talk about the breathing techniques and everything, which was great. And then afterwards, we would have one-on-one classes with Val to learn more about baby and development and things that we should be doing, and just all the things that you, again, don't think about when you're 17, 18 years old. They had this moms group that had a lot of moms in similar circumstances, young moms going through some of the same things. So it was really, again, nice to have a safe space where we could talk about different things. We would get a meal and we'd get the babies together. So it was just a nice social situation, and just provided a lot of that emotional support too. There's so many things I enjoy about being a wife and a mom. For a mom, I love seeing my kids find their thing and just get so passionate about it. For Addie, it's art. She's just so passionate. Her room, she typically will cover and pictures she's taken and things that she's drawn. For Mila, she's just so silly, so goofy. I know we were talking a little earlier, but just she walks in a room, she owns it. She's so sociable. Just being a mom, I enjoy parenting with Robby, but he's also my best friend. And again, I know a lot of people say that, but he truly is. We've grown up together. We've been together since I was 16, and we share everything together. And it's nice having that deep connection with someone that just is truly your best friend. When I think about where I would be without Northfield Women's Center, I really don't like to think about it, because if I would have walked into somewhere like Planned Parenthood, I do strongly feel like I would have had an abortion. I wouldn't have, thought as much into my decision. That's truly how I feel, that's where I would be, and I don't like to think about that, because my daughter Addie is one of the greatest joys of my life, and I could not imagine life without her. It's been a wild ride, but it's been great, so.
It had a direct impact on, us and our family, and we're able to, continue being a family and growing our family afterwards because of organizations like the Northfield Center.